Another episode of Roofer Reflections, and I'm really happy to have Al on the show. So your use of video is amazing. I mean, is that something that sort of came from you a bit, or were you inspired by the team? How did that happen?
So I have a very talented person working for me. She was in college, and I was lucky to get her when I was a child. I used to be one of those. I was a child star in the movies. I never liked doing it though. It was not my. I didn't want that for my life. But my mother wanted it, and obviously, when you're a kid, you do what your mom wants. So my first movie was with James Cagney, and I talked to from like many different directors and cinematographers through my years of doing that, and they would teach me stuff as I was doing stuff. You know, working with all the Woody Allen, met Al Pacino, you know, all these different, Bill Cosby when he was in the early 80s, all them.
How did you go from, you know, being sort of in and around Hollywood to working with your hands? I mean, was your dad in the roofing trade all this time?
A big roofer in New Jersey.
Yeah.
And when I wasn't doing that, I was working. When I went to college, I had to make money. When I was 13, I was working with them and doing copper when I was 14 years old in Hoboken. And people don't know that my father was actually the first roofer to install torch-down roofing in the United States. 1977. It actually came from Italy, and it was called Dibiton. I think it was called Dibiton. So he knew the guy was coming over from Italy, and they needed a brochure picture to sell the product. So we did the first roof in Bayonne over here in 1978 on Oak Street, and he was the guy doing the roof. And then obviously if your old man's doing the roof, you learn everything your father learns because he's doing it all the time. So that's how I started doing it, and so I've been doing it since, you know, 16, 17 years old. I did with him, must have been like 3,000 or 4,000 roofs before I even started doing my own thing.
When did you decide to start doing your own thing?
He talked me into it, believe it or not. I didn't ever wanted to be a roofer. That was not what I wanted to do. I was actually I went to college, I became a scientist. I became a geologist. So he kind of like talked me into it, and then I was going with this girl, which I eventually married, and I kind of wanted to get a career, and I didn't want to leave her, and I was automatically good at it. Like I could do roofing in sleeping. A lot of guys, they think very rigidly. They want to do a roof the way it was before. I don't do that anymore. I look at a job and I try to, because a lot of these houses are old over here and they have to be redesigned because the way they were designed in 1900 is not the way we think nowadays. So that's what I'm really good at. I redesign old jobs to make them new, and I make them better, and you have to think outside the box to make everything work. So that's what I'm really good at, and if I'm really good at it, why not do it?
When you're talking to people that are interested